Hey, welcome back to Business 101, Introduction to Business. And in this sixth video in Module 11, as we continue our look at information technology, well, we have to take on the subject of risks and threats to IT security. Now, let's talk a little bit about the scale of this problem in business today. This is not necessarily in your textbook, but this is information I was able to find pretty quickly about the contemporary size of the risk. The average cost of a business data breach is reported as $3.2 million. That means every time there's a data breach that a company suffers, the aggregate cost adds up on average to about $3.92 million. And of course, this varies depending on the industry and the size of the breach, but that is a huge cost that we suffer because of breaches to IT security. And as a result, we realize this is a huge problem. Business spends about $133 billion on IT security on an annual basis. And quite frankly, that cost isn't going down anytime soon. As a result, we try to do the best we can to lock things down, but data breaches still exposed 4.1 billion customer records in the very first half of 2019 alone. That's not even the whole year. Just the first 6 months of 2019, 4.1 billion records exposed by IT hacking. Attacks average about once every 39 seconds. Some business in the United States is being attacked through cyberspace, or on average about 2,244 attacks a day. Obviously, this is a huge problem of huge scale with huge risks and huge costs if you suffer a breach. And therefore, we need to take a little bit harder look at what's going on here. What are the common terms we use as business people when we talk about IT security? Well, you can see here, we use the catchword hacker for a cyber criminal who gains unauthorized access to a computer or a network, either to steal information, money, or property, or to tamper with the data. And some examples of this can be everything from a hacker staging a distributed denial of service attack, or simply mooching off someone else's wireless connection. A quick word about this. What's a DDoS attack? What is a distributed denial of service attack? Well, servers are designed to be able to handle multiple requests for information at a single time. However, if you flood a server with too many requests at once, what ends up happening is it ends up denying service to any of those requests because there's just too many to tend to. Well, this is the weakness, the flaw in client-server architecture that is exploited by a denial of service attack. In other words, if you are angry enough or have a reason to try to bring down a company's server farm, you would simply leverage hundreds, if not thousands, of computers around the world. You would take control of those computers and simply try to flood a company's servers with service requests, resulting in a denial of service. And then because you're using a distributed network of computers to attack that company's server farm, it's known as a distributed denial of service attack. Just one way that hackers can attack a business. Some of the things that they're trying to get after: identity theft, unauthorized use of personal information like social security numbers, loan numbers, addresses, etc., to get loans, credit cards, or other monetary benefits by impersonating the victim, either through a phishing attack or a pharming attack. More information on those terms in the text, by the way. Or simply trying to steal intellectual property, something produced by the intellect or mind that has commercial value, like patented information, trade secrets, customer roles. Any of those kinds of things would be targets of typical IT attacks. And you can attack through common means like spyware or spam. You can see the definitions there on the slide. Spyware, defined by the text, as a program unknowingly downloaded by users that monitors their computer activities, gathers email addresses, credit card numbers, and other information that it would then transmit to someone outside the host system. More on that, and as well as spam email, of course we all suffer through that every day, in the textbook. More information in the textbook on those. What does this mean? It means that we are constantly under attack by criminals around the world seeking to get access to our company IT networks and systems for all sorts of different means and reasons. Can we ever keep our networks 100% safe? No, the answer is, unfortunately, it will never be 100% safe. Why is that? Because the only way to keep a computer 100% safe is to never plug it into the internet. Good luck on doing business that way. So you know you are always at risk, and so it pays to hire the very best team that you can to provide IT security, and yet knowing your assets will always be at risk, and therefore you'll never have 100% safety. It's a daunting problem associated with very large costs, something we have to stay vigilant about. Hope that helps, or at least hope that doesn't discourage you too much. We'll see you in the next lecture.